Welcome to the Great Girlfriends podcast, where we discuss life, love, laughter, and everything in between. I'm your host, Sybil Amuti. Happy December, Great Girlfriends. I gotta tell you, I feel like I'm hearing Marvin Sapp, Never Would Have Made It, playing in my head right now, because my God, we are at the end of 2020. And I have to say, I'm quite happy to be at the close of this year. What a whirlwind, right? And the numbers on COVID keep rising. So I want to remind you, great girlfriends, to practice your social distancing, wear your mask, keep your families in practice. Let's make sure we're all doing our part to get this pandemic under control. And I'm sending prayers up for every single family that's been impacted by COVID-19, which has been all of us. So we're covering all of you in prayer. Anyway, I'm here today with a new co-host. Would you believe I should say my family, have a puppy? And his name is Willie. And he's currently nipping at my chair as I speak. So if you happen to hear any magical pup action in the background, it's because my dear sweet Willie is down below my feet and he is quite curious. So, and I need all the tips I can get. So I went online to, find out, what do we do? How do we manage? Because he is in that teething phase and we've got all kind of chewy toys, but for whatever reason, he wants to pick the most luxurious items in the house as his chew toys. And no, sir, I'm going to tell you something. That's going to get you a new family, because in this house, I ain't going to have that, y'all. Great girlfriends, listen, we work hard to get the things we have and to be able to keep them in nice condition. So I'm not about to let the newest family member come and dismantle all of that. But anyway, we're learning. Oh, and if you're probably wondering, or if you're wondering what type of dog he is, I, growing up in the South would just say he's a mixed breed, right? Because that's what I was born and raised, calling dogs who had an unknown origin. In fact, they called them mutts. But I understand this new day and age where everything has a name and an identity and a title. I'm cool with that too. The internet calls him a Pitador or a Labrador, which is a Pitbull Labrador mix. So we got our adorable Pitador from the Northeast Arkansas Humane Society, and I would love to just shout them out because they have done a fabulous job of keeping him healthy and making sure that he was dewormed and that he had no illness before he came to our home. So I just want to shout them out, and I do want to remind people that there are puppies who need a home. There are older dogs who need a home, and okay, here comes the turn up, y'all. My co-host is trying to make his way to the mic. There's all kind of puppies, and there he is. So there's all kind of animals that need homes. And so I want to encourage you all to just take a look at those that need a rescue home versus, maybe looking at purchasing from a pet store. And that was just a choice that my family made. So of course you have to make your own choice for your family, but that was ours. So anyway, enough about Willie, who has not been on my Instagram. I will post him in due time. And if you're not following me on Instagram, I don't know why you're not. So let me drop that gram for you right now. It's at Sybil, SYBIL _AMUTI. Be sure to connect on Instagram. Shoot me a DM and let me know that you're a Great Girlfriends listener. I would love to shout you out. And I want to shout out the over 20,000 women who are downloading every single month. You are the real MVPs. Because of you, this podcast is reaching over 100 countries now. And I got to say, I look forward to visiting each one of your countries, 178 U.S. markets. I cannot wait to come to your city. I can't wait for us to host Great Girlfriend experiences and see you face to face. Due season will come. I promise we'll do it one day. But I just wanted to shout you out and say thank you for 5 years, 258 episodes. This podcast has been going strong, and we're going to keep going strong until we see this bad boy, this baby, this machine on television, where we can reach even more faces and hearts and homes and touch more people's lives with the power of Great Girlfriendship. So thank you so much for being huge supporters. I wanted to remind you that your iTunes reviews are urgent and important. I'm begging you, do not just send the email. I love the beautiful emails and I can't thank you enough for sending those notes, but I also want to remind you to drop your iTunes review. That is so important because people don't even realize how many listeners and how impactful this show is until they see your review. And I mean you specifically, the listener that is taking this note right now. So head over to iTunes, select the show, leave your review. I'm thanking you in advance for the incredible review that you'll leave. And I just want to read you, one of the reviews that I love reading that I thought was encouraging. Let me get to this one. This is too much fun. This is from 3 years ago, but it's still powerful. I listen to you every week. I'm a newbie to your podcast, but I'm definitely gaining ground. Your podcast is like being able to sit at the grown folks table, not to talk, but to keep silent and listen. You are empowering women, and I aspire to build bridges for youth the way you all have done for women. So keep up the good work and know you have a committed listener over here. Jasmine Ridges, for 3 years, I hope you've continued to listen to the show. Thank you so much for dropping that review. And I'm asking each and every single one of you to drop your review alongside Jasmine's and the 197 ratings that we've gotten thus far. We get tons and tons of emails each month. But those are not the crucial points. The things that keep this show buzzing, the things that make new listeners jump right in is seeing your review on iTunes. I also want to remind you to join our Facebook group. Get in there, y'all. They are just living it up in the Facebook group. That community is going super strong. 21,000 women that are there connecting, collaborating, empowering each other, praying for one another, and grooming each other for the next level. If that is you, head over to Facebook, search for The Great Girlfriends, and join the group today. And this week's episode of the podcast is being brought to you by Sanctuary. Sanctuary is a place of refuge and consecration for the mind, body, and soul, a holy place. Founded and curated by a Black woman, Sanctuary is an online destination and lifestyle brand dedicated to people of color to promote wellness, self-care, and style. Explore products ranging in beauty and fashion to home and body from mindful BIPOC entrepreneurs, as well as interviews with enthused self-care muses, information and insight on nutrition, and discussions on personal care practices for these tumultuous times. For more information, visit sanctuarylife.com. That's www.sanctuarylife.com. So y'all, this week we are talking about 3 things, and just 3, that us should no longer spend our time on. And that is in 2021. That's today. That's tomorrow. That's going forward in life. 3 things that you should stop spending your time on. Grab your pen and paper before we jump into this information, because these are 3 notes that you're going to want to jot down, and you're going to want to keep these like on a sticky somewhere near your computer or somewhere near your cell phone, even like as a wallpaper on your cell phone, somewhere where you can remind yourself or reinforce it on a regular basis that these things are frivolous. All right. So I'm going to ask you, grab your pen and paper. But what I have realized, what I'm coming to realize even more and more as each one of us, we grow, we learn things, and we evolve. And certainly 2020 helped us to, look at our lives and look at what's important and see the way we manage our time and, all the things that we do. What I have come to realize is that stewardship is the name of the game. I repeat, stewardship is the name of the game. Stewardship is the way that you manage or oversee or own or take responsibility for those things that you are responsible for. And so when I look at the stewardship of our time, I think about all the ways that we lend our time out. I think about all the ways that we give our time. I think all the ways that we waste our time, that we have been so generous with our time. And, what we've learned in 2020 for sure is that whether or not you spent your time complaining about COVID or complaining about the election or complaining about, the state of affairs in America, the world, all of the different things, if you spent your time there, even awakened to some of those things, or if you spent your time worrying about a job or your income or your health or all the things that are real to us, whether or not you spent your time there or not, time was spent, and time doesn't come back to us. We don't regenerate time. We don't get new time. We don't get to resurface the old time. Excuse me. We do get new time, but we don't get to press rewind and replay all the days, the months, the years, the minutes, the seconds, all the time that we have used in the past. So with a greater consciousness, we can be really amazing stewards over our time. Remember, stewardship is the name of the game. So it's about the quality that you place on your time and your energy. I know we think we're really, really great at this, but it is so easy to go down the rabbit hole of social media. It's so easy to go down the rabbit hole of a group text. It's so easy to go down the rabbit hole of an email trail or an email chain. It's so easy to go down the rabbit hole of a conversation that's real juicy, right? And can, keep our attention longer than some of the things that are very important to us. It's very easy to go down the rabbit holes, and it's very easy to find ourselves looking up going, girl, it's 7:00. I should have been off this phone. Or, oh my God, I just spent, an hour on Instagram, and that's an hour that I meant to spend cooking my dinner. Or, I spent this much time thinking about X, Y, and Z, or worrying about X, Y, and Z, when I could have attended to that time, or I could have dedicated that time to something that was far more important to me. And so I wanted to get into this today because I know that I'm not the only great girlfriend that has spent time on these things. And I know I'm not the only great girlfriend that needs to reorg the way that I invest my time, the way that I attend to certain things. I'm guilty. I'm pretty time conscious, but I'm also guilty of this year negotiating with things that were important and pressing pause sometimes when I should have pressed play, and looking to the left and the right sometimes and getting kind of worn out by the process, and, just kind of doubting or second guessing. So I want to get into these three things, and this is just for you to take into your consideration. And I said today because today is the best day for you to really start assessing these things. I don't like to look at the new year while I'm in the new year. I really like to get ahead of that. So having said that, number one, three things I will no longer spend my time on. Number one, I will no longer snooze on myself or my great ideas. And great girlfriends, I'm encouraging you to no longer snooze. Don't sleep. Don't snooze on yourself and your great ideas. Do not. Sleeping on yourself is assuming that yours is not as great as the next person's, or assuming that, your idea isn't great enough, or assuming that, your value doesn't measure up to what is necessary in the market, or, that your voice isn't strong enough, or that you haven't been prepared, or you're ill-equipped. Snoozing, sleeping on yourself, sleeping on your value, sleeping on your worth, seeing everybody else's value, clapping them up. Right? Cheering them forward, saying, girl, I knew you could. Girl, I saw that in you. But really not giving the same value to yourself. And it's so funny how we make ourselves earn the value that we offer to other people. My goodness, right? We give it so freely, so liberally to other people. But when it comes to ourselves, we make ourselves jump through hoops and holes and valleys and obstacle courses. We have to earn the value that we give to other people so freely. I don't want you or me or anyone else associated with this community to be one of the women that slept on your value, slept on your great ideas, and wake up at the end of this thing, when you are in your elder or senior years, looking back, asking and saying, why didn't I? I wish I had. Or regretting your time because you spent too much time sleeping on yourself. Now, I'm not saying you're not going to doubt yourself. Who doesn't have moments of doubt and inferiority? Who doesn't have a moment where you press snooze or even, you have to ask your homegirl, girl, you think I'm good at this? Or maybe you even have to ask yourself, Sybil, am I really good at this thing? Or could this thing really be something? I'm not saying that we don't have those moments, but of course we do. But what I'm saying is spending too much time there. Too much time, offering yourself too much time in the doubt space, offering yourself too much time second guessing, offering yourself too much time questioning the same support you give to other people. I'm asking you to give that to yourself. And I'm saying today and going into 2021, spend no more time there. Stop sleeping on that value. Girl, you are amazing. When was the last time you really took a deep, deep look in the mirror and saw yourself? If you do it at high frequency, you will be like, actually, I am so beautiful. I am resilient. I am strong. I am smart. I got receipts. I am lovable. I'm humorous. I'm innovative. I'm resourceful. You'll see it if you spend the right amount of time and attention loving on yourself. You won't snooze on yourself alone because you'll start to see the things that God has planted on the inside of you. And when you have that lens, you will feel empowered. You will feel ignited. You will start to see that your ideas, that you're just a vessel. So your ideas aren't really just your ideas. You are a holding space. Those ideas were planted on the inside of you by a higher power. So if God gave you space for those ideas, you must be incredibly dope, girlfriend. So what I'm saying to you is, do not spend time sleeping on yourself and your great ideas. Instead, spend time investing energy into seeing yourself and seeing the woman that you are and seeing what has been planted on the inside of you. It will be a game changer. You won't ask questions about your competency. You'll just show up because you will know, and you'll have like this walk. It's like a strut. You will know how bad to the bone you are. You won't be worried about what people think and how they feel. You'll just be able to deliver. Like right now, I'm not worried about how anyone thinks or what they think or how they feel about what I'm saying. I am flat-foot confident that this message is essential to at least 20,000 great girlfriends. And I am here to deliver it today because I know how urgent it is that you receive this in your spirit so that you don't suffer through the feelings of inadequacy. Remember, they're just feelings. They're not truths, but those feelings that try to just hold you down and sabotage you. So that's number one. No longer snoozing or sleeping on yourself and your great ideas. Number two, no longer spend your time. Do no longer spend your time on frivolous spending of your time and money. Girl, I'm going to tell you something. When you look at your life, you'll realize, especially when you get to 40. I know everybody says, girl, when you get to 40, but it's true, y'all. When you get to 40, you start to reassess a lot of things that you may have thought through and considered in your 30s. So when you get to your 40s, when you get to 40 particularly, something, your no button is just like strong. You just buzzing that thing like, no, I don't have time for that. I don't have time for that. And next thing you know, you have to slow yourself down to be like, wait a minute, I'm going hard in the no paint. I need to adjust myself just to make sure that I'm not saying no too fast. But it feels so liberating to just have that clarity. If you've been blessed with that since your teens, you're in your 20s, you're in your 30s, shout out to you. But some of us didn't really get that strong, refined no muscle until we hit 40. What I'm saying to you, frivolous spending of your time is your only currency in life. With your time, you have the ability to create stronger currency. I give my time generously in love. I give my time generously in innovation. I give my time generously in strategy. I give my time generously in connection, in creating safe spaces, in hosting, in investing. These are ways that I can strengthen my currency, but my currency is my time because once my time is up, my value has been lost unless I built a stronger currency off the base of my time, which is a value that goes beyond my time. It's called a legacy that will live, that people can opt into even beyond my life. It still has a life of its own, right? So I'm saying that to say, if you have that consciousness that your time has that much power, that it is your currency, wouldn't you want to invest it properly? And be more conscious of how you invest your time. You're going to either invest it, you're going to spend it, right? Even if you're investing your time into relaxing, that's an investment. If you spend your time doing what everybody else wants you to do, you'll never see the worth, the true value of what God gifted you as time. And you'll never understand how to build a stronger currency that lives beyond your life, your legacy. You would have built the legacy of those that built or designed something for your time. What if you could construct a legacy around your time? What would that be? What would that be? That's what you want to do with your time. Construct a legacy that you desire to live out each day. Because actually, when you look at it, when you imagine yourself, if you close your eyes for a second and visualize what it means to cast vision or even to see or accept the vision that you see, every single day, we're just backing ourselves into that big picture. We're walking out the micro steps that lead us to that macro vision. And then once we get to that, you'll see yourself building bigger vision. All these micro steps add up to that. Well, those micro steps, that micro currency is time. It's seconds, minutes, hours, days, months, years, decades, right? So that's what we're working with. And with that time, we invested in different places, and it's according to our value, right? So it's according to your value. If you value your job most, you're going to invest a lot of time there because you want the return that brings. It may bring you money. It may bring you power. It may bring you prestige. It may bring you security. It may bring you comfort. It may bring you connection. Some of us are just working at jobs where we got friends, not even making money that we truly like, right? We got to be honest about that. But imagine if you could be more conscious of how you invest that time, you can attend to it and you can nurture it differently. So what I'm saying to you, what I'm not going to do, what I stopped doing, and I want to encourage all of you to put a pause and put a stop on, is spending frivolous time according to other people's expectations of where you should be and what you should be doing. The design of your life was never meant to be constructed or designed by people who are just participants in your life story. They're not the leaders. They're not the leaders. So what I'm asking of you is to get in line. You know, I get in line with God and I let him give me a download, and I take that download and I'm like, all right, let me call on my all-stars to help me build out this download, to really manifest this thing that I'm seeing in my head, this vision. I'm taking micro steps to build on the macro, but I get aligned with my higher power, which is God, who's my source, versus, calling my mom, calling, my big sisters, calling all those people that have been holding my hand for so long. If we're going to stop, making frivolous use of our time and our money, two currencies that we truly, really value, then we're going to have to really take the reins and be the lead. No more hand-holding by people who are meant to be resources but not sources. They are not meant to tell you how to build your life, how to build your legacy and lead your life. That's a truth. Now, that's going to hit some of you hard because for so long you have called on people to kind of guide you, and maybe you haven't asked yourself big questions, but this is a great time of year to do it. This is a great time of year for you to sit back, get quiet. Quiet all the noise, quiet all the TVs, quiet all the conversations, quiet social media, quiet, and just hear and look around and listen and see what your life is telling you, what is being communicated through your surroundings, through your experiences, through your passion, through the things that you miss, through the things you really, really deeply desire, right? What is that stuff that's being communicated? You want to listen to that because those are the places where you want to invest your time and your money. If you can attend to those things, you'll start to nurture your legacy with micro steps that build to the macro vision. Okay? All right. That was number 2. And I hope y'all not mad at me. Well, y'all might be mad at me, but I don't know. I'm just saying that to say this is an essential conversation, great girlfriends. And this is in love. This is not one of those trying to spank you on your hand because I know everything. No. Great girlfriend, this is the stuff that we're walking and talking and working through on a daily basis. This is why we're attending to this now, because 2021 has great things in store as 2020 did, even though it was rocky, y'all. The great thing, if you're listening to this podcast, is that you made it through. You made it through the rocky stuff, and you're still working through the rocky stuff. So I want you to be encouraged, and I want you to drop this last thing that you will no longer spend your time on because it is a complete waste of time, is the expectations of others. We gonna let that sit. We will no longer spend our time on the expectations of others. It is really, really a poor man's life, the one that is lived in expectation of other people's value set, right? When you can't live up to your own values because you've lived up to everyone else's for so long. When you can't live up to your own dreams because you've lived up to everyone else's for so long. When you've been answering to everyone else's expectation and you've lost your own way. I want to encourage you today to stop, falling into that pattern of saying yes to everyone else's expectations and saying no and not even having the energy or the time to attend to your own. your own desires, your own values, your own expectations, your own goals, your ambitions. I know the feeling of being exhausted, trying to be where I'm supposed to be for everybody else, and then looking up and being like, girl, I am too tired to attend to anything personal to develop myself. And I also know what it's like to be the person that pours so much into other people because you love so much and you want to see other people win so much, but you look up and you're so empty. And then it's hard, right? Because the expectations of others are that you're always going to be there and be in that same position. But when you are empty, you do not have the will to show up in the same way. So then you're letting people down, and that guilt, it can eat away at you. So I'm encouraging you now, today, this day, to let go of that. Release the idea that living up to other people's expectations is the way that you are validated. That is not the case. In fact, you are more valid when you serve yourself first, when you serve God's plan for your life first, than if you ever show up for your boss, or you ever show up for your coworker or the church or the neighborhood or the community or whatever else. If you can't show up for yourself and be empowered by the person that you are with the vision and the wisdom and the wealth of resources that live on the inside of you, you will be weakened at the core when you realize that spending your time on the expectations of others has wasted away your entire legacy. You will find yourself saying, what about me? What about me? And you'll find yourself feeling overlooked. You'll find yourself overwhelmed. You'll find yourself muted. You can't even hear that beautiful voice of yours because you're so busy listening to other people's voices, right? It's a lot. You'll find yourself lost, and you'll feel forsaken. Though none of those things are true of you, it's how you'll find yourself feeling. So if you can no longer find yourself locked into the expectations of others, if you can set yourself free from that people bondage, my goodness, it will be an open door, a gateway, an opportunity, and an invitation for you to go higher, to go deeper so you can go higher, in fact. So I'm going to stop right here because I think this is a great stop point. I think we've got our three things. I think we know the three things that we'll no longer spend our time on in 2021. That is sleeping on yourself and your great ideas. That's second guessing, right? Number two is that frivolous spending of your time and money. And number three is living under the expectation of others, what other people think about you, that people bondage, those things that are holding you back, holding you down, making you feel overlooked and forsaken and forgotten. We're done with that stuff. I encourage you to dead that stuff. Dead it. Because today is not a day, great girlfriend, that you need to waste your time, waste your currency, waste your micro steps, looking around and second guessing and questioning what God has given you and what's been planted on the inside of you, or even knowing that you are worth the investment. You are. All right. So listen, I want to hear from you. If this hit, if it resonated, I want to see that review. If it hit, if it resonated, if you're thinking something that you want to share, shoot an email over to welcome@thegreatgirlfriends.com. Direct it to me. I want to make sure I hear your voice. And you can DM me on social media at Sybil_Amuti. But for today, I would love for you to take some time, grab your journal, just write yourself a little sticky, write out how you're feeling. If you're feeling like you need to transform some things, write out the things that you don't need to sleep on anymore. Write out the places where you've been spending your time and money frivolously. Write out the expectations that you've been living under that you want to set yourself free from. Share those things with one of your greatest girlfriends in confidence and coffee. And just let me know, because y'all know I like to get feedback. I want to hear from you. I want to know how you're feeling about these episodes. Shoot a note over to welcome@thegreatgirlfriends.com. All right. Love you, great girlfriends. Bye. Great girlfriends, did you enjoy this week's episode of the podcast? If so, would you please give us your amazing review on iTunes? Every single review helps another great girlfriend get plugged into the podcast, into the community. speaking of community, make sure you join our Facebook group, The Great Girlfriends. You follow us on Instagram at The Great Girlfriends and on Twitter at @the_great_GFS. Last but not least, we'd like to thank my amazing husband, Kwaku, Sam and Dilly, and all of you for being a part of the global community that makes us so strong. Please remember to share with your friends, keep listening, and keep being a great girlfriend. I'm Sibylla Muti, and I'm out. Peace.